Hey guys, Rinji here, and there has been Twitter troubles once more. What kind of troubles? Well, this time around of the K-pop variety. Yes, finally, I get to talk about the worst online fandom ever created by humankind, and that's K-pop stans. Not K-pop fans, mind you. Let's be very clear who I'm talking about. It's K-pop stans. People that have unhealthy relationships to their idols coming from South Korea and making sure that everyone else knows how badly they treat other people by acting completely unhinged online, looking for racism where there is not, while also being racist themselves, sending all kinds of threats to people, making sure that you are sufficiently aware of their favorite idols by spamming cam videos all over your feeds. I think a lot of these have been banned already because pretty much K-pop stans have been bullying them for like a few years now. But don't take my word for it. Whenever there's a K-pop controversy going on, Twitter is full of it because the K-pop fandom is so freaking massive. It will always break into the mainstream, and so you will probably know of the latest ones pretty quickly if you follow social media even in a casual way. But what's today's controversy? What has happened with K-pop stans this time around? Well, it turns out that some of the members of the K-pop idol group called Tomorrow by Together, I think that's the name, or also abbreviated into TXT, have recommended the Made in Abyss anime and or manga to some of their fans during a recent live stream. And knowing what kind of content Made in Abyss has within itself, a very controversial one, especially to the modern audiences who do not know how to separate fiction from reality and will attribute the content within said fictional material to the outer, deciding their morals. So if you write or create anything remotely controversial, you will be labeled as all kinds of things that, you know, are usually criminal or just outright vile. But you know, that's the current mindset. It's as disappointing as it sounds. You know of it. But let's get right into the meat of potatoes of this whole thing, as this account that you see right before you is trying to explain, or is rather trying to defend, one of their favorite idols from TXT called Subin. They're pretty much running defense for them, to put it lightly, and trying to explain the whole situation of what happened. I think that would be the best way to summarize this whole controversy to you guys. And later, in later parts of the video, we'll get into some of the reactions from K-pop stans and see how normal they are about this. But let's get right into the reading part. This is getting blown out of proportions. I hope to provide more context to you to form an informed view. While everyone is free to form their own judgments, please bear in mind that some accusations are very serious and should not be used lightly unless fully justified. K-pop stans don't care about that. 1. The Korean version of this anime, meaning Made in Abyss, is censored to remove most controversial contents. Koreans have confirmed this. Please see part 1, which is a translation of a panic comment. According to IMDb, the Korean edited version is rated suitable for 15 and above, and the original version is PG-19. Please see P4. For comparison, AOT, which is Attack on Titan, is rated PG-19 in South Korea. The Pan Post, which was started by an organized group of anti, is misleading on purpose to include disturbing scenes from mostly the manga, which is removed from the Korean anime version. So to wrongly imply that idols, Subin included, have seen and endorsed those scenes, false. And you know, this whole thing is pretty much a nothing burger to anyone with any common sense, because it's just a manga and anime. it doesn't really matter what kind of, disturbing scenes it has in it, because it's all fiction. Who cares? But then they get into the reasoning that, these idols have a lot of underage fans, because that is true. And recommending a manga or anime with such content is highly controversial and quite disturbing to the young people that may be exposed to it, let's say. Let's continue reading. This also explains why many K celebrities mention the anime publicly, as the version they watch are greatly toned down. Subin does not recommend this anime. For context, Subin was asked by fans during the live what anime he was watching, and he responded with MIA, which is Made in Abyss again. He then explained that he doesn't recommend fans to watch it because of the I Can Treat Korean content, CP2. I Can Treat Korean was translated as provocative and WVS, but this Korean word has no sexual connotation in itself. It means to stimulate / something very strong and often unpleasant. Well, now I know what it is, but I still can't read that. The Korean version is censored, but at its core, the anime still belongs to the dark horror genre, with lots of deaths and brutality happening to very young characters, mind you, as well. Subin enjoyed the plot, so he must endorse this disturbing content. False. Aside from the fact that this anime is censored in Korea, Made in Abyss is known for having a great storyline and world building and very well produced. I have to agree with that. It's highly recommended by me. Rated 4.7 out of 5 on Crunchyroll. Rated 8.77 out of 10 by 723k users on my anime list. Rated 8.4 on IMDb. Many anime viewers who watch the non-Korean censored version have expressed similar sentiment, that the plot / art / world building is great and very well done, but do not enjoy the brutal and sexualized scenes involving kids. Please may I remind you again that Korean version is censored. You should probably remind people that all of this is not real and no one's really getting hurt or exploited in any sort of way. But again, that kind of nuance is lost on most online discussion. Let's continue. Consumption of media does not equate the endorsement of the author's views. And mind you, the author's views are pretty much fiction. It doesn't affect reality in the way that you think it does. And the author of Made in Abyss is a Shorakon and a Lolicon, and has drawn a lot of that too in his career. But, people are going to try to drag him and call him the P word, unfortunately, for that. We can call out someone for being unaware, but if we are to say anyone who's simply enjoying watching the adapted anime without any knowledge of the original manga, the uncensored version, or the author's controversies, the controversies started by terminally online people, by the way, is endorsing the author's views, then no one will be faultless. Subin has explained on live multiple times that he do not read any mangas and will only watch anime that are ranked high as a casual viewer. It's not an anime that I would recommend to you because it's kind of provocative, as says the subtitled screenshot from the live stream. Then there's more. This is not the only anime he watched, and he did not recommend this anime. He just likes the anime for the grand world building, fantasy elements, and the dark themes. Sexual elements are prevalent in Japanese anime, so anime viewers just overlook those stuff and focus on the world building and the character development more. They watch the parts they want to watch and focus on the storyline. This is why he talked about this anime on live. If he actually understood the nature of the work or the author, he wouldn't have mentioned it in public. Furthermore, after the manga is being adapted and entered into the Korean market, the work has to go through multiple reviews and cuts. Controversial scenes would not be allowed to show in the anime version. Those scenes would only take up around a few seconds in the entire anime, and would go unnoticed if you aren't sensitive to this stuff. How absurd it is to call someone a P word just over this. This is ridiculous. Oshinoko, which is so popular on forums, is also a story about an underage pregnancy of a 16-year-old. The author's previous works also featured pregnant minors. Does that mean everyone who watched Oshinoko enjoys seeing minors getting pregnant? If we start criticizing people based on the works they have seen, there won't be anyone without faults. Only a handful of anime in Japan are completely free from controversy. Your point is that Subin mentioned this anime knowing that they have provocative elements, but you don't even know if those scenes mentioned in the comments are in the Korean version of the anime or not. Criticizing him without even knowing whether these scenes exist in the Korean version is basically witch hunting. Something K-pop stans do very well, mind you. I guess going forward, it would be best for all idols to not mention any anime at all, because their fans are rabid monsters. But there's more. Here's the age ratings certifications for Made in Abyss anime in various countries. And as you can see here, South Korea 19, with the edited version being 15. But again, to me personally, this doesn't mean jack. This is all fiction. Who cares? And ending. Lastly, coming from anime fan myself, I want to express similar sentiment as that Pan comment. When you watch animes on a regular basis, you'll get desensitized to many stuff because fanservice / graphic scenes are so common in anime these days. A lot of the scenes, when looking in isolation, will often come off as shocking, especially to non-anime watchers. But when you are exposed to many genres of animes, especially dark ones, it is easy to overlook these stuff in the grand scheme of things. In hindsight, I agree that he should not even mention this anime at all. It would be a stretch to accuse someone of being a P-word or endorsing these contents just for watching the censored version. And here's the terminally online people going after this person and later after the K-pop idols. Nice excuse, you must be so proud supporting a P-word. And here's something amazing. The author of Made in Abyss, Akihito Tsukushi, is confirmed P-word who is currently under trial. That is completely false. Akihito Tsukushi was never accused of anything in a criminal fashion, other than by terminally online people. Whatever this screenshot is taken from is probably conflating some other manga authors that actually got in trouble in the criminal sense. But, you know, again, all nuance is lost online and people will just take what they believe and run with it. Because it's easier to believe a convenient lie that also endorses your worldviews. Let's move on. Why does this content exist in the first place? Dark fantasy must be gross but childish. R-word, sexualization and brutal scenes of kids. Is that necessary? Why is no one thinking about the author that shows that content hidden behind the dark fantasy story? Well, you know, there's so many shows out there that are pretty mainstream. Let's say like Game of Thrones, best example, has all kinds of immoral things going on with it, but is anyone criticizing it to this degree as they criticize anime? No, because anime is cute, comes from Japan, has to be criticized for that. Kinda a very xenophobic view, I would say. But yeah, all kinds of content is a-okay in fiction. What the author's intent is, including that content, is their own. If you want to know why they included that, why don't you ask them instead of making assumptions about it? And that person making that whole thread got this type of reply too. You're pathetic, I pity you. And there's more. I hope you the worst. I was having some neutral thing, but him recommending it. And here's a pretty much TXT translations account, which has relayed all of the live stream content of that TXT live stream. I'm gonna read all that because that summary has pretty much already done its job for me. I'm sorry, but this tweet sounds like Koreans are dumb and not educated. They don't have access to the internet, but if they do, they don't know how to use. We are talking about a grown men living in 2023, not some teenagers from 90s. Not cancel, but hold them accountable for reading a manga and recommending an anime. This is this is this is the current modern way of thinking. If any of these people ever get into any kind of positions of power, this is gonna be a dystopian landscape for sure. Let's hope it doesn't get to that. There's more. This whole thread is just to lie. It's not that censors. The P-word vibes are still there. He actually did recommend it like a year ago. Y'all just shoved it under the rug. Others enjoyed incel weeps who never have a problem with the sexualization of children characters. And here's all kinds of quote-unquote evidence showcasing what kind of terrible content Made in Abyss has in it. I don't think so. Well, I'm not saying he's a P-word for watching it, but watching itself and saying he enjoyed it is so effing disturbing. I watched on NK, I was disgusted and quitted it. Red killing Stocky and stopped it immediately. Very soft. But again, it's your choice to do that. If it makes you uncomfortable, you can stop at any time. You will never see me defend a man like this. You'll never catch me defending a man like this. Why are accounts engaging in all kinds of controversies about stupid things, always with the Free Palestine flag nowadays? It's so easy to identify determinedly online. The lengths you'll go to defend a man is actually making me laugh. There's a special place in hell for people defending this man. Sure, it's censored, but he literally said he prefers the second season, which is way worse than the first. And engaging in the material is still giving money to a P-word. It doesn't matter how censored it is if the source material was written by a P-word about his sick, twisted fantasies. Content based on on the type of CP he had, by the way. Nope, that's the wrong person. That's conflating two people. You guys really think this would be the case if that was actually true? You're all trying so hard to defend these men like this entire show isn't heavily controversial in Korea, even with censorship. This is effing insane. You'll make me sick. Even if Subin, Woozy, Mingi, and Kyung apologized, what is exactly going to do? It's not going to change anything because they all consumed P-word / lolicon content, and an apology won't fix anything. If you guys are against this S, then you should obviously unstand because it's effing nasty. For anyone that's confused with what happened, Subin, Woozy, Tyong, and Mini have watched / read an anime manga called Abyss, and it basically includes P-word, R-word, and it's really graphic. Read. Here's listing all of the controversial, gruesome content that Made in Abyss has in it. Trigger warning. Mention of R-word, child exploitation, lolicon, and linking more content that Made in Abyss pretty much has in it. This is what Subin said. I'm watching 2 at the moment. Made in Abyss 2 is currently airing. I seriously didn't find the plot in Made in Abyss 1 that entertaining, but season 2 I personally found it very fun. It's not an anime I want to recommend because it's a bit provocative, but the plot is seriously good. I enjoyed watching it a lot. It's like they found a criminal and tried to present evidence of what he did. It's all because he watched an anime. Just posting screenshots like it's some evidence. Taehyung Insta story of him posting a picture and there was the manga in the photo. It was volume 11. There's currently only 11 volumes out, meaning he was up to date with it. Oh, the crime of it all. Forgot to include this, but this is Woozy talking about what series he watched as he mentions Abyss. Also, you're weird as hell for mentioning my mutual getting them suspended because call your faves out. You're sick in the head. @ Bergyot, report this person. Mr. Electric, get them. I will not be unstanding anyone over a manga. You're all seriously crazy trying to police everything these idols do. Thank you for, for a normal fan coming forward to tackle these very, very weird people over a manga, and it shows you don't have any morals because the manga exploits children and includes P-word. How about you go see the censored version yourself? They're going to apologize and then rewatch it if they are terrible people. Anybody who's defending them needs to be locked up behind bars. No matter what context you use, they still read/watch that nasty thing. All you guys would prosper in China with these kinds of mindsets. I'm quite sure. All this Made in Abyss stuff with Subin, Taehyung, and Woozi is making me sick. Because how the TF are you gonna watch/recommend an anime like that? All these people who are defending Subin, Mingi, Woozi, and Taehyung are the same people who were hating some idols for recommending and reading feminist books. Oh boy. I'm sorry, but I don't care how much you like Woozi, Subin, Taehyung, or anyone else who read this or watch the anime. They deserve the absolute worst. I'm sick to my stomach, bro. WTF. More importantly, that man himself who even thought of writing this deserves life in prison. F Subin, F Taehyung, F Woozi, and F every single one of them. Weird F'ers. All I must say about this Subin is if a man is ever obsessively enthusiastic about weird, misogynistic, and P-wordy media, then y'all gotta question that man's morals on a lot of things. Yeah, here it is, that conflating people's morals with the things they consume in fiction. Always a nice way to go forward with it. Some of you are so delusional, like I have biases in artists I love and WTTV, but literally I drop any single of them and change my entire perception of them so quickly if they were actually effing weirdo. How do any of you actually think an apology of, or mention of good? What happened? A bunch of idols, including Subin from TXT, were recommending and watching a show with CP, gore, and literally any other disgusting S you could think of, and people are trying to defend him and the other skull emoji. Seeing Karats defend Woozi, Moas defending Subin, and Atinis defending Mingi, meanwhile N-citizens are celebrating that they have another excuse to hate Taehyung. I'm sick of this fandom. I'm guessing these are like fandom names for K-pop idols. I don't know. Kind of feels like it. Because Taehyung has 11 volumes of the manga. Like at least Woozi, Mingi, and Subin. There might be a misunderstanding, but there's no confusing what Taehyung did. Nobody saw his other 10 volumes, and that SHT was sealed and gifted just like his boots. So STFU, just hate you hate Taehyung and move on. No need to give your BS justification when the common enemy is the anime original self. Y'all will grasp at straws to defend despicable as your idols do. Chile, please. GTFO my face. Oh, this is amusing as hell. The biggest weirdo is probably Taehyung, because you have to tolerate that S to push through and read the manga up to volume 11 like that. What a criminal offense, reading up to volume 11 of Made in Abyss. The quote retweets at this point, they could live stream themselves watching CP and people would still find a way to defend it. Bro, it's a manga and anime. Finding out Taehyung reads CP was not on my 2023 bucket list. I'm so sorry, but this is effing sickening. Volume 11? Actual F. That's how you know he's a sicko. I know that manga wasn't pulling no punches. It's really hard to trust male idols. Oh my god. Volume 11 is a lot of chapters. The usual manga I read, each volume is about 4 chapter. Can you imagine how much reading is to be able to have volume 11? Sick. Right, like he's sick in the head. This MF makes me sick, for real. If you're still waiting to support him hard, block me. IDGAF. Oh my god, he has the manga? Oh no, not the manga. It's insane to me how could you even stomach that, as, or at least had the thought, wait, kids are being effing tortured? Should I keep buying? They're making it seem like some kids in Gaza got killed because someone bought this manga. Like, how are you not ashamed? 11 volumes! That's disgusting. And lastly, men. I'm quite sure this is gonna get a lot worse for the K-pop idols from TXT going forward, because this controversy is very new. And a lot of these K-pop stans are, at the moment of recording of this video, asleep. And once more, as this controversy is very fresh in everyone's minds, this is probably gonna reach mainstream soon enough, and people are gonna be complaining about it a little bit more. I just found the most amusing tweets so far. It's probably gonna be thousands of them in the next few hours, but I'm not willing to dig that hard into K-pop fandom to find out. I just hope I gave you the proper impression of what they think about this. And once again, do not be confused. There are K-pop fans that are actually normal, that like the music, like the idols, and actually have common sense and can tell fiction from reality, and that what content someone consumes in that particular fiction doesn't define their moral stances or anything like that. So with that knowledge in hand, that's everything, and I hope to see you on the next one.